.com, NoDQ.com,
NoDQ.com,
NoDQ.com, NoDQ.com.
The people that know more about me know this. I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! Whether it's the NoDQ Galaxy, the Jeff Meacham Network, the ATW Crew, Indie Force, or anything related to For the Win Productions, the gears of wrestling keep on turning, and we are here to give our thoughts, previews, and predictions. Good day to you all, and welcome to our panel for this week's Simply Predicting. This Sunday, Impact Wrestling returns to Toronto for the first time in 4 years to the Rebellion Complex, where everything will change. We will see if an obsession will overcome submission, and we will crown a new Knockouts World Champion as well. So much more ahead, too, as we come together to make an impact and discuss the next pay-per-view in their cycle. Welcome, everybody, to Simply Predicting Impact Wrestling Rebellion. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another impactful panel. You know what this is, for I am the simple man of the simple brand, and my name is Noah Foster. And welcome once again to Simply Predicting. With me, as always, is some of my horsemen, members of the NoDQ Galaxy and Nebula, my longtime wrestling friend. We are a conglomerate of unique minds and lifelong fans of professional wrestling. So we're just going to go right into it and get everybody's thoughts. First off, of course, he is a member of the NoDQ Galaxy, last year's winner of the WWE League. We'll see how he does in Impact, and he's doing okay. But he looks at all things wrestling, and I can definitely respect that. He might as well be a member of the ATW family. Christopher Rotz. Chris, how are you? Welcome back once again to the Impact panel.
I'm doing good tonight. I am so ready for Impact Wrestling's Rebellion pay-per-view on Sunday. I'm going to give this show possibly a 9 out of 10. And for the first time in Impact Wrestling history, we'll be crowning a Knockouts Women's and Men's Championship come this Sunday. So history will be made in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this Sunday night live on pay-per-view.
And you don't need to hear the Canadian National Anthem to believe that, too. But that being said, I always enjoy what this guy believes in and brings creatively. Of course, the man of 1,000 last names. He is the new normal. He is the general. Jerry Rebellion tonight. Jerry, how are you? Good to see you once again back on the Impact Forum.
It's hot here. It's hot.
It's going to be hot in general. I mean, between the weekend, between wrestling, between live, we're all hot. I'm hot-headed, so there's that.
Yes, that's why I'm the general today. It is hot in general.
And that's a fact.
Good point.
Yeah.
But pay-per-view wise, I mean, what's there really to be excited about? You know, like 2 vacated championships crowned. You have Ultimate X. You got a couple of great tag matches, couple hardcore matches. Really nothing to look forward to on this thing at all. I mean, seriously. I mean, I don't even know why they're putting it on.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm just saying.
But
I've never heard of a lot of variety on a pay-per-view. What?
All honesty, though, this is a beauty of a card. It really, really is, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Indeed. Again, Impact Wrestling, they are the engine that you thought couldn't do it, and I still think they're in a better limelight than ever, and talk about a critical situation, but a great adaptation on the fly, which makes a lot of sense. So without further ado, before we get into all the predicting, of course, allow me to bring up the league and the scores too. Ashley, well done. You still hold down first place, of course, followed by Joshi and me. Kinkietta, Gina, Sean Boley. It's still anybody's game. Very close as we are not even halfway through this year's league. Thank you to everybody, of course, who continues participating even out of Team No DQ. Walter, Colin, David, I see all of you. I admire your gumption. And, of course, my longtime friend, the Indy darling Cindy G, among others, and the Horseman as well. So, folks, get those predictions in and come make your own impact on this year's Impact Predictions League for 2023 as we run through all the pay-per-views and the monthly specials, too. As your opinions matter, too, links in the description down below for you to fill out your form. And you have till 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday night to make your predictions final. So, without further ado, and thank you for those that are tuning in, too. Hello, Gabriel. And again, folks, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, give it a thumbs up, support Cast 18 Studios. He's now monetized. So if you want to start the conversation, Super Chat is as simple as that. Otherwise, we're going to stay on course. Let's get right into it. As we know, Impact Wrestling loves to give us a countdown. And this time, they actually gave us both our matches for the countdown. And for those that never tuned in Impact Wrestling, here's your chance to see what they're capable of on both the men and women's front. As Impact Wrestling will present the Countdown to Rebellion free across Impact Plus and their YouTube channel. Sunday, April 16th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, free for all wrestling fans to engage in. So that being said, let's go ahead and engage real quick in this tag team match that I don't think a little bit of the bubbly is going to be served, but I do wonder if the same victory is in store. As Heath and Ronald, the former Impact World Tag Team Champions, take on now the newly packaged Champagne Singh and, of course, the Indian Lion, Shira. And last time we saw how things played out, and it didn't play out so pretty. Either way, I think there's going to be a gore if a champagne ball is not involved here. And the countdown matches are always unique because they don't necessarily seem one-sided. They could go either way. But I don't think I'm betting against Heath and Rhino in this case. Chris, what's your thoughts on this little opening tag team affair?
Personally, I feel this tag team affair is going to be a good one to just the crowd and everybody into it before we go live on pay-per-view at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I have Heath and Rhino taking this. They're the babyface team, and the babyface team wants to get over and just hype the crowd up before we go live.
Not only that, but he's got kids. So that being said, Jerry, does Heath win it for his kids? Or does Shira maybe prevent the gore and drop Rhino? What's your thoughts on this tag team affair?
Basically, if this is going to be the match that kicks off the countdown or the show in general, yeah, it's best to actually get the audience locked in and happy. So I would say Heath and Rhino are going to win this match. Yeah, that's my only thought on it.
I'm about to say, I mean, what else is there to say? And apparently,
there really isn't.
I mean, that's literally the easiest match maybe to call. And again, countdown is what it is. Most people do agree. By the way, shout out to the 23 of you so far that's putting your predictions, included but not limited to my brother Lex and ATW. I see GJW, I see Rodney, Rocco, Dwayne Atkinson. I see Walter, like I said earlier, Scott Cater, Christopher Willets, Mark Atkinson, among others. Kyle, thank you all for putting in your predictions. Good luck. A majority believe in us. 92% actually believe that Heath and Rhino are going to win. But there's a couple of people that maybe think that Shira, if nobody else, deserves to be given a bone. All right. Well, I don't think you need to read a fortune to see how one-sided this match might be. But this one, I kind of have thoughts, but I might be on the same wavelength. And I don't believe in the wicked darkness or witchcraft that might be involved here either. Nor do I read tarot cards. But I'm sure Tara Wild will have one courtesy of her spirit. As the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions are on the line once again as the Coven. Of course, the newly signed Kylan King. Congratulations to her. Taz alongside Taylor Wilde to take on the Death Dolls. Of course, Rosemary and Jessica. So this kind of writes itself. But the biggest thing I wonder here is Jessica having maybe an identity crisis on the verge of warping into something Rosemary can't handle. Is there more than just a hex that was played onto Rosemary that's causing all this madness? How much does, all this, dark sorcery come into play into the result? And can the Death Dolls overcome this tower that Taylor Wilde now has alongside? Considering that the Knockouts Tag Team Championships are more respected in women's tag team wrestling than another company I could talk about. I feel like because they did just win these, I could see Sarah Wild and Kylan King going a little bit longer with this run. I think that Jessica and Rosemary are going to be taken to a different direction, and I sense we're on the verge of an implosion. So I think that the tag champs will actually retain. What's your thoughts, Jerry?
I'm in the same boat with you. I think it's going to be a bunch of supernatural mumbo jumbo. It's going to cause Jessica to get either distracted enough that Rosemary gets pinned. So it's going to cause friction in the tag team, but then Rosemary will also know that it's not Jessica's fault in the long run, and they have to find a way of breaking whatever spell is being put on her. So I think that's what it's going to be. I think them getting the belts right now wouldn't make sense at all, at plot point wise. Plus, like, it makes the new tag champs look weak. So we're going to go ahead and have retention here.
Chris, do you have any further thoughts to add? A majority agree with both me and Jerry as well. They believe long live the Coven. The Coven will retain 21 out of the 23. Although a couple people still believe that Impact should fall back to decay. So what's your take?
Personally, I would not hot potato these Knockouts Tag Team Championships. I'm going to say the Coven, they just won the championships not that long ago. So keep the toes on them, and they can move forward with them and go on to the next cycle of competitors that they're going to be taking on during their run as Knockouts Women's Tag Team Championship. So I have the Coven to retain on Sunday.
Long live the Coven, then. All right. Well, that was short, brief, and simple. Well done, folks. Now let's get into the real deal. As of course, folks, this is Impact Wrestling Rebellion, the second pay-per-view in their 2023 cycle. Available across all pay-per-view providers. In fact, they reached out to Premier Sports Network. It's now available there. You can even buy this for YouTube. And again, it is Sunday, April 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And stay tuned, as of course, the Jeffrey Multiverse will be able to have you covered with me and James Hebert on the call, bringing you our play-by-play reactions and commentary. Once again, Jeffrey Generic Multiverse and Mia, so stay tuned for more on that. I can't wait to call this shit. All right. So we got a very nice 7-match main card here. And again, championships and hardcore wars and so much more galore. All from the Rebellion Center.
That's a lot of rhyming.
Yeah, I know. Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So that being said, let's go ahead and kick things off. The only way I know that Impact Wrestling does, that always holds a standard and sometimes steals the show. And Jerry, you picked this one for a reason and not just because of what I said. But here we go. Ultimate X for the Impact World Tag Team Championships as Bullet Clubs. ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, our current Impact World Tag Team Champions, defend the gold and look to elevate their game against the most influential tag team in Impact Wrestling history and still our current NJPW Strong Tag Team Champions, who might add will be defending those titles very soon on Capital Collision in a three-way against Ozzy Oben and Rainmaker, Tsuchika Okada, and Roshi Tanahashi, but I digress. The Motor City Machine Guns. So this one's pretty simple. We have seen how far Ace, Bay, and the Motor City Machine Guns have built this up ever since Ace and Bay had their times in New Japan to really redefine themselves as a tag team, and they felt they only needed one more shot, fair and square, in traditional tag team match to get the job done. And they placed the bet on themselves in all places, Las Vegas, and hit the jackpot. They beat the Motor Machine Guns fair and square, clean in the middle of the ring, after again the better them in a trios affair. And since then, we've seen this Game of One Usmanship really trying to prove who is the better tag team going today, not just of all time, considering we know the longevity of Motor Machine Guns. So the Motor Machine Guns, they basically asked if Ace Austin and Chris Bay believe in themselves so much, why don't we raise the stakes? So not only is the gold on the line, but probably their livelihood too. What did Alex Shelley call it? The most dangerous game of capture the flag? Yeah, that makes sense. Because in Ultimate X, the only way to win is to climb the structure, go across the ropes, and grab what I gotta imagine is either gonna be the titles or the big red X2. That being said, Jerry, what's your thoughts on this match?
Okay. It's no secret to anybody that's actually I've discussed Impact with that Alex Shelley is probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. The dude is just influential, very well versed, great on the mic, great in the ring, just very fluid. I love him to pieces. And Chris Sabin, X Division like stalwart. He pretty much like damn near just started the whole thing.
They'll save it.
And he's always been like just top tier as well. So when they finally combined into Motor City Machine Guns, I was all for it. Their feuds that they had back and forth, like in their matches, were great. And the fact that they got together and pulled their resources and became one of the greatest tag teams in wrestling today is awesome. And Ace Austin and Chris Bay have done the exact same thing, same formula. They feuded for about a year or so on end. And finally, just like when they both were in Bullet Club, decided, hey, let's see how this works, and it's worked in spades. See, Ace of Spades. But I could honestly say at the end of this match, it's going to be all about respect. Like I know Austin and Bay are going to retain, and it's going to be a fantastic match. And I think by the end of it, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin will have no choice but to like shake their hands and just more or less pass the torch. I know they still have a contract with the company, but at the same time, this also frees them up to still try to make another singles run. And if my prediction for the main event is true, then either way, you're going to have some really great potential for some really great matches in the long run for like singles wise or even triple threat. So ABC for the win.
All right. I will say this, Chris. ABC recently defended their Impact World Tag Team Championships at Sacrifice against TMDK's Bad Dude Tito and Shame Hayes successfully. And they also survived a fatal four-way at the Multiverse United against TMDK, Aussie Open, and oh man, I'm blinking on the last team. There's it was the Motion Machine Guns too. Heck. So that being said, yeah, they've gotten the better. They've survived Motion Machine Guns in multiple affairs. But again, I look at the Ultimate X track record, and it favors Motion Machine Guns. But all four men do have X Division Championship history. Not necessarily related to Ultimate X, but I digress. And here's how close, despite the fact Jerry believes that it's pretty much a pass of the torch, it's almost 50-50. 12 to 11. Majority, though, are with ABC. So, Chris, where do you stand? Is this maybe the Motion Machine Guns' last chance for now for the Impact with Tag Team Championships? Or do they remind ABC, you guys are great, but you're not there yet compared to us, and we're still going to be the main influence around here once again as the Impact World Tag Team Champs?
Well, here's a stat to give you guys. Here's two of them. Number one, I think this is the 48th or 28th X Division match in Impact Wrestling history. And another one is the ABC, they have never have been able to win a X Division match. And the Motor Machine Ultimate X, the Motor City Machine Guns, they are the experience of this type of match. They know how to get it done, and you think when you go with, do you go with the experience or do you go with the unexperienced people that hasn't even won an Ultimate X match? I personally believe I have, as of right now, I feel the ABC are going to retain the tag team champions on Sunday to like pass the torch and says, hey, the ABC finally got your moment. You finally were able to defeat the Motor City Machine Guns, and you finally won the Ultimate X match that has been alluded to them this whole entire careers. Motor City Machine Guns, they're getting up there, and we don't know when they're going to be retiring. So this is like the passing of the torch moment. Give ABC the win.
All right.
Alex
then.
has already retired once.
I was about to say, you realize they did take a stint before they even came back together as Moisture Machine Guns. Last time I saw Alex Shelley not in the Moisture Machine Guns setting was again Toronto, 2019 Summer Supercard, taking on Matt Taven. He lost in that. And I know that he also said that at the point Chris Sabin does retire, he's going to need like double knee replacement surgery because his legs will never be the same again. And as we also learned, Jerry, Chris Sabin just recently celebrated his 20th year accolade in his professional wrestling career. Congratulations to him. But I can understand where you both are coming from here, too, when you think about not only we're putting the Impact World Tag Team Championships on the line, we're putting them up in Ultimate X, a match defined by Moisture Machine Guns. And the Moisture Machine Guns have hung against all the best. You think about the Briscoes. You think about Generation Me, your Young Bucks. You think about the Dudley Boys. You think about that if you put a tag team name in front of Moisture Machine Guns, they are the standard. They are the pillar, okay? So I kind of can understand where y'all are coming from. And again, why I do believe that this will be a reset course for Impact Wrestling's future, I think that ABC will surprise us because while they have been unsuccessful separately as singles, even though they're multi-person affairs, in Ultimate X, maybe working together in Ultimate X is what they've been missing all along too, despite besides just tagging together, because they do seem more effective as a duo than singles competitors. And at one point, we thought Ace Austin was going to be the youngest Impact World Champion. Never came to be. Chris Bay challenged Rich Swann for the Impact World Championship. Never came to be. So maybe this is where they're at their strongest. So I think based on all that, I will agree with you all. I think that ABC will retain. It's not going to be easy, and I guarantee you someone's going to be falling off that structure more than once. But I don't think Ace Austin's going to like lunge for it either. I think he's actually going to get up there, go across the ropes, and grab whatever it is, whether it's the Big Red X or the titles themselves. But I do believe the tag team's going to retain.
You use a word there, Noah. You use surprised, like that. It would be like a surprise that they won, and that kind of like talk is what's really going to drive ABC to win this match. They want to hush any kind of naysayers, and they want to be seen on the same level, if not higher, than the Motor City Machine Guns. And this is their way of doing it. Again, literally elevating themselves in that match.
I'm just glad this is an elevation X, but talk about really trying to take your games to the next level. All I gotta say is good luck to all four men. This is gonna be insane. Wouldn't surprise me if this was the opener either, because again, you gotta put together that thing. All right. Well, as we move on from there to what's going to be probably an instant classic where Don West, God bless you, he would be saying you got to be freaking joking. Let's go ahead and turn back the clock to another time where you would probably hear Joey Styles say, oh my God, in a different way, as we have two extremists going to war. What was that? I like that.
Alarm.
Oh, okay. Well, here's an alarm for you. Get ready for war. Hardcore war. We got our teams. This has to be the friggin' endgame with these two, for Pete's sake. As Team Bully comprised of Brian Myers, Moose, Kenny, K-I-N-G, King, and you're looking at that right, Masha Slamovics, the current GCW World Heavyweight Champion, might I add, taking on Team Dreamer, Tommy Dreamer, Uyo Yamera, Frankie Kazarian, Bahindra Gunter, and hello, Killer Kelly. By the way, good luck to Killer Kelly, Kylan King, Miya Yamashita, and Steph DeLaunder at Capital Championship Wrestling one day before this pay-per-view for Kylan King's network and CCW World Women's Championships. May the best woman win. I'm going to say right now, the women are going to be the X Factors here, in my opinion. But I also got to consider that first. We thought that the good hands were going to be on Team Bully. Doesn't mean they can't come into play here. And I'm just going to put it out there. Team Bully has the advantage. Meaning they will always have the one-upsmanship in the team aligning when it comes to who has one more member than the other inside the ring. There is no cage involved, but basically anything goes, and this doesn't end until all 10 participants are fully involved, and then it ends via pinfall submission, I gotta imagine, inside the ring. At this point, I just wonder who's going to do the craziest hardcore thing possible, considering two men have a history going back even before ECW. We've seen how personal though this has gotten, from the busted open on no surrender with the friggin' coffee mug to Tommy Dreamer to the busted open match at Sacrifice where Tommy Dreamer had it won, but due to shenanigans, Bully got the win. Gary, you and I have tracked Impact Wrestling TNA longer than most people probably even watch YouTube at this point, us talk about it. How many times lethal lockdown, multi-person affairs, when the heels get the advantage, they're the ones that lose. But they take every possible advantage, whether it's taking somebody up beforehand, and then they get surprised by either that person coming back or somebody else. Might I remind you of AJ Styles' incredible return against Immortal versus Fortune?
It definitely is a trope at this point.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say it right now. Plus, you don't bet against Killer Kelly. I never do. I'm going to say Team Dreamer wins this, and we finally end the Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer feud. What's your thoughts, Jerry?
I think this feud's going to keep on going. You have to realize something. Yeah, you have to realize something about Tommy Dreamer at this point. He was in a feud with Raven for like 10 or 15 years and didn't get his first win against Raven until Raven was leaving ECW. It took that long for him to actually win a match against Raven. And even then, he won the ECW championship in that match and lost it not even 5 minutes later to Justin Credible. We haven't gotten another feud for Tommy Dreamer to really start yet. So I'm thinking at this point, Bully Ray is still going to win this match. And we're going to have another like singles match between the two where it's complete retirement match. One of them has to go. Like that's the only reason Bully Ray will agree to a match is if Tommy Dreamer says after that match, if he doesn't win, he's gone. Because then you can have Tommy Dreamer win that match. And then another feud start with somebody else that's either returning to the company or somebody that's coming up to the company and wants to make a name for himself. So I pick Bully Ray's team to win.
Ooh, that's a fair take, considering we know the next shows for Impact are Under Siege, and then, of course, Slammiversary. That being said, though,
Slammiversary would be a great time for a retirement match.
That's very true. Or I quit, or lose or leave TNA altogether.
Yeah.
That being said, again, you look at this field, though. I also think about this. Bully Ray is kind of being a mentor role to Masha Slamovich, no matter how crazy that sounds. Frank Kazarian has signed a long-term deal with Impact Wrestling. Uya Mera's on excursion, but Hinder Gunjer, he is the one with the most potential on the rise. You got Moose, the former Impact World Champion. Brian Myers, the most professional, but he couldn't beat Joe Hendry. And then I look at Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich, and I'm like, can I just get these two one-on-one, please? And I feel like no matter what, we're going to get that. And the fact that Killer Kelly moved on from the supernatural to truly a hardcore warrior, she can play with everybody and everything possible. It just feels like a fun little day at the office for her. And I do think the women will be the X Factors. Not to mention, again, Masha Slamovich is the current GCW heavyweight champion. She beat Nick freaking Gage. But I do understand what you're talking about there, and you do have me wondering. But I just feel like the fact that you're going this far, I think about Lethal Lockdown, that was not necessarily an end game, but a turning point for rivalries. Maybe necessarily the rivalry doesn't end here, but maybe Tommy Dreamer just finally picks up a win. Who's to say that Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer need to be involved in the decision, by the way? They're just the captains. You look at the rest of the field here, anybody could pick up the win here, honestly.
But it's all about, like, with the teams, it's more about bragging rights than anything else for Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer.
But that promo on Thursday, when Bully Ray was talking about, Tommy, you wish you had more of a united front. We are all equal. There is no leader here. Yeah, yes, it is. I remember that nonsense. Bully Ray, again, do you know who he is? And why they all might have the same mission to literally put out Tommy Dreamer, it seems. That same ideology can only go so far with that amount of egos on one side. I'm just saying. So that's why I still feel like that there's going to be a breakdown at some point. Because, again, Moose, you kidding me? Moose is a scumbag. He literally works for himself. I just feel like there's just so much that could go off here, despite being a hardcore war, that somebody on Team Dreamer could take the advantage. So that's why I am going to stick with mine. So, Chris, this is fun for you because right now it's 1-1. And as far as the poll, a majority are going with Team Dreamer, 19 versus 4 people. So, Chris, where do you stand in this hardcore war? Do you give it to Team Dreamer or Team Bully Ray?
Is this match almost looks like I know it's hardcore war, but is it like similar to like War Games in a way?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is without the cage.
Yep. And without a second ring.
Yeah. One ring.
How are you going to put all these 10 people in the ring at the same time?
You don't.
Because
You have
they'll
the
be fine-
bottom
they'll-
on the outside. You pull a cheese grater. You pull a table. You pull a door. You pull a candlestick. Trash can lid. You pull barbed wire out. You go crazy.
You'll have two people in concession, and chances are it's going to be Killer Kelly and Master Slamovich just knocking each other into popcorn and slushies and everything else, and it's going to be epic.
They might be eating the concession stands. We may never
I mean,
know.
Tommy Dreamer has taken food from fans before. I'm just saying. Ugh. But anyway,
But
Stop.
overall, this has to be the blow off between these two teams.
if
It
nothing else,
has-
there's a simmering point.
It has to be the blow off to possibly a best rivalry out there. This
hot
is
take.
gonna be war. We're gonna see
Period.
blood. We're gonna be seeing everything all in one, and I feel this match could be a show stealing of a match.
There'll be a
um,
moment.
I don't think Tommy Dreamer have ever gotten a win over Bully Ray in his career. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
You are wrong. I
Um,
can tell you that much. Whether it's tags or singles, these guys have traded wars and victories, losses, and don't give a damn.
And personally, it has to end. As of right now, what you said about the heels gain the momentum and they lose, I'm going to go with Team Tommy Dreamer for the win. This has to be the blow off, and this has to end between Team Bully Ray and Team Tommy Dreamer this Sunday. And personally, after this Sunday, we're going to possibly listen in possibly Monday on the Busted Radios.
I want to David Quick fix about this.
On Busted Radio to give their thoughts on a match between these two teams at Impact Rebellion on Sunday.
Before I move on, Jared, you did bring up an interesting point about Raven. Let's not forget, Raven now is a TNA Hall of Famer. I don't think there's no loss between him and Bully Ray either. Again, going back all the way to ECW, what did Raven do at the freaking Hall of Fame ceremony? He dropped Dreamer with the DDT. I could see Raven actually getting involved in this and maybe screwing one of the teams just because he wants to. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
Yep.
Again, a lot of X factors here.
I'm sticking with my decision. You guys will just, be wrong.
You know what? That's the beauty of Impact Wrestling. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of Impact Wrestling. They are not one-sided. I love the fact that every one of these matches, none of them are unanimous. More so, a lot of them are 50-50. This one, not so much, but this one, a little bit closer, as we will finally see if the past will be buried or if PCO finally gets his hands on Edgy and buries him. Someone is finally going to get their last rites. Man, that's a callback we haven't heard in a long time. It's a coffin match, folks. As Eddie Edwards with ride or die partner for life, his wife, Alicia, who apparently did it for Eddie. She was the wheel person. Go figure. Goes one-on-one finally against PCO. We've been talking about end games. This has to be the end game for these two. In Canada, nonetheless. Perfect Creation 1, former Ring of Honor World Champion. Eddie Edwards, former Impact World Champion, and he and Alicia have done everything together. With him trying to move bad away from his past and move forward in the future, picking a choice between Honor No More and his wife now coming to play, seeing that this freaking anomaly will not leave us alone. How can Eddie move forward? I have to step in. Wouldn't surprise me if Kenny and Kendra get involved too. All right, it's a coffin match, Chris. So RIP. Who gets their last rites here? Who comes out victorious? Does Eddie Edwards finally bury his past? Literally.
Well, here's a stat for you. I'm probably going to be the next Mr. Stat Boy for all we know.
And shout out to Stat Boy Mikey Carlo, who's not here, and Dory Lou. Take care, my friends. Check out the Sports Bar, folks.
The first last rites match was at Destination X 2007, and the two competitors were in the match with Sting and Abyss back then. So, who won that match, by the way?
Man. Caught me on the
I
spot
believe it
there.
was Sting.
I believe it was Sting because I know that he and Abyss were having and it wasn't Abyss being reformed either by Dr. Stevie, I believe at the time either. I think it was Identity Crisis time. Anyway, continue.
And personally, I feel PCO is going to get his hands on Eddie Edwards on Sunday. And I feel after this match, I feel at the next live special, I'm making a bull Under Siege, or it could be at Slammiversary. I would have PCO battle for a championship. So overall, in this last rights match, I'm gonna go out with a limb. As of right now, I have PCO for the win.
Well, you definitely are bold and brave, but you're also probably short-circuited like PCO will be because he won't know which direction right from left is. Jerry, majority of people, but again, kind of a margin, 13-10, believe that Eddie Edwards will finally bury his past. Again, with Alicia in his corner and there's no disqualification, it just feels like right now, and I don't think the coffin was built for two people, but Eddie Edwards needs to find something else at this point, or he's literally stuck in a vortex worse than what people call Chris Jericho at AEW, or Happy Corbin for that matter. So, Jerry, what's your thoughts on this? With PCO, again, the anomaly that will not die, for he's not human. Maybe a coffin will be the answer. It's not like a Kill Bill scene. Just
I
saying.
love that movie.
Yeah.
But
I once
Kill Bill
watched
Volume
movies,
2.
believe it or not. I just don't do it anymore.
Kill Bill Volume 2 is great, and you really need to see the Mario movie. You really do. But
I'll take that under consideration in 2024.
That's better than your no answer the other day. That was rude.
Hey, Bobby Roode was the it fact. Okay, we're getting on sub-tangent.
Okay, yeah.
Here.
All right. I think at this point, the best thing they could actually do is have another monster debut. Not anybody we've seen before, just somebody that's huge and that could be opposing to also PCO and look just as indestructible. So maybe Eddie Edwards is about to lose. Alicia's not in the picture for some reason. Another guy comes out, cost PCO the match. So I think that's the best way to bury PCO for a little bit, and then he has another feud to start with like whoever Eddie Edwards brings in to help him out. So Eddie Edwards moves on, PCO moves on, we all move on. So Eddie Edwards picks up the win.
Feels like WWF booking with buried alive matches where you
sadly that's what I'm going with at this point.
Right.
But there's really not another result I could see coming out of that, or like a cleaner way of making it look.
Right.
Because the only way you're really gonna make PCO look strong in defeat here is if somebody else comes out and puts him into the ground. Eddie Edwards, he's going for his whole heel thing at this point too, and that's absolutely fine. And that's great. And for him to win this match this way, that's just gonna give him more heat. So we're good with that.
And Alicia finally turned heel too. Who would have thought? Took it this daggone long. And these two as a heel couple.
I did it for Eddie Edwards.
Yes, she did. I'm the ride or die partner for life, and not Baby Driver either, but literally the driver behind the vehicle. They ran the men over with a minivan. Come on now. Probably more effective if it was a freaking Tesla, but I digress. Anyway, moving on from there. Maybe it wasn't their budget.
Did you make your prediction yet, Noah, on this match?
Oh, no, I didn't. Look, we're in Canada. Let's put the man down where he's home. All right? Seriously. I'm kind of tired
Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
I'm kind of tired of this never-ending story. Well, Swan and I'm going with Eddie Edwards picking up the win. PCO gets his last rides. But again, PCO will be back because he's not human. But at least Eddie Edwards can finally move forward for something, even if it's short term. I'm going with Eddie Edwards. All right, that was fun. Let's go ahead and move on from there. Back into championship. Jared, you were talking about the Ultimate X earlier. We talked about X Division. This match might give you a run for your money. Because talk about making a mark for yourself, aka making you a mark man. Toledo represent. Good luck, Trey. Trey Miguel defends the X Division Championship against both Jonathan Gresham and Speedball Mike Bailey in a triple threat elimination match for the X Division Championship, where the only way to win is to be the last man left in the match by somehow surviving or accomplishing 2 decisions. It's literally you have to eliminate one person, and then it's a one-on-one, and then you have to eliminate that person. So technically speaking, Trey Miguel has to survive or outweigh 2 decisions to still be the face of the X division. Let's fucking go. Again, like I said last year, one of the most prolific champions of recent memory of the X division, Speedball Mike Bailey, 9 defenses across 110 days. His match against Trey Miguel against All Outs was one of my match of the year candidates to this day. If I could see that live right back, I'm just saying. And then Jonathan Gresham, Speedball Mike Bailey, the amount of counter wrestling that these two are so similar to each other. We've seen it countless times. They're technically 1-1, and we thought we were going to get the rubber for the more contendership, but Trey decided to make it about himself, and it bit him in the ass. Now he's got to deal with 2 obstacles. But then again, maybe that's just raising his stock, put some damn respect on his name. He did survive a 6-way scramble at Multiverse United. He also survived against Lindsay Dorado at Sacrifice. Like it or not, Trey has made sure that you remember him as the face of the X division, despite the fact he's not the likes of, I don't know, AJ Styles or P.D. Williams. Just name a couple more prolific names that he threw out there. So that being said, look, I'm from Toledo, Ohio, born and raised here. By the way, great diary. Trey Miguel, he's had a great run, but the thing about Speedball Mike Bailey that gets me is the fact that he's had 10 dream matches in one weekend and is once again trying to outwork Macho Slammer as the most worked wrestler this year. But I seriously could see this guy involved more so in the World Championship picture. So that just leads to the Octopus. Jonathan Gresham has had a lot of mixed fortune since time to Impact Wrestling, but he's been at his strongest against Speedball Mike Bailey in loss and defeat. This is his first chance at an Impact Championship of sorts. I feel like Trey is going to exploit the field and have Speedball and Jonathan Gresham duke it out more amongst themselves, maybe flash pin decision one of those 2, and then he tries to take advantage. I don't think it's going to be a sudden second win following that, but I think Trey is going to buy his time as champion because that's the smart thing to do. And I think because of that resourcefulness, and maybe I can't spray paint, I think Trey is going to continue this and retain. I think he's on a hot streak. So I think Trey's going to outsmart the field once again, just like he did at Multiverse United. I'm going with Trey for the win. Jerry, what about you?
I think the only way to give Trey Miguel a bigger chip on his shoulder about this whole exit, putting some respect on his name, is for him to lose the belt without even getting pinned. Like a pretty much go a whole conspiracy angle thing where he's like these people like have been trying to keep me down. They finally got me down, and I didn't get pinned. I didn't submit. This is still my title, and I think if anything, maybe he's close to winning, and then Speedball Mike Bailey or Jonathan Gresham ends up picking up the win. Now, whichever one actually does win, that's kind of on the fence. So, it's rough. And I came in here wanting to say Mike Bailey is going to win it.
Keep in mind, Jerry, this elimination. So for Trey to be out, he has to be involved in one of 2 decisions.
Yeah. So that would be interesting to have him get pinned right at the beginning of the match. But seeing as though it's elimination for 1, and 2, we have 2 new champions getting crowned at the end of the night.
Guaranteed.
I am going to say that Trey Miguel finds a way of retaining his title.
If it wasn't elimination, Jerry, I guarantee you I would have said Speedball Mike Bailey. As soon as they made elimination, I was like, yep, they're going to make sure that Trey keeps the title.
Because the way I was talking about it, it'd be a lot easier for Trey to drop the belt in that match than like, an elimination match. So I think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get Trey Miguel retaining and continuing his reign of terror, more or less.
There you go. Leave his mark and put some damn respect on his name. Again, what do I always say, Chris? In Triple Threat, you have a buffer, you have a fall guy. Well, that went out the window because now it's elimination. And the poll here is kind of partisan. A majority are going with Trey at 48%. But secondly, actually, is the Octopus. Jonathan Gresham at 35%. Speedball the lowest at 17%. So whether or not they think that Speedball maybe should be just more focused on the world title picture, or maybe Speedball is the biggest threat and somehow Gresham and Trey tag up against Speedball to eliminate him first. Because let's keep in mind, it's about eliminations here. So who do you want to eliminate first? Do you want to eliminate the champion? Does Gresham maybe work with Train, eliminate, Speedball, who might be the most dangerous foe in this match, being the former X Division champion? Like, it's one of those things where I could see a strange alliance, maybe a double pin of sorts to eliminate one of the opposition, and then you duke it out one-on-one. Now, whether or not there's mutual respect and it comes down to Gresham and Speedball, that really comes down to the whole way this triangle works. This is going to be a very unique match. But right now, a majority is going with for Channing. Jerry and I are going with for Channing. Chris, where do you stand? Again, Speedball Mike Bailey, Jonathan Gresham, Trey Miguel. To win this match, there has to be at least 2 rendered decisions.
Personally, I'm torn right now about this match because I feel this is going to be another show-stealing match.
Well, it is the X Division.
And personally, I think Mike Bailey is going to have possibly a world title match down the road. And I think he should focus on the world championship for now, instead of the X Division championship. Now you go into Trey Miguel and Jonathan Gresham. I personally believe you might be getting a heel turn out of this match. I believe maybe from Jonathan Gresham to give his character bit more like aggressive side of him.
Right.
And I think they are going to possibly indicate that. And Trey Miguel, he's been a great X Division champion. He hold on to that championship. And personally, he looks just like Ricochet still.
Oh, God. Here we go again with that nonsense. Damn it.
Hey, I'm going to keep on saying it for the rest of my life.
Stop it. All right.
But overall,
that rascal does look like the one and only.
Yeah, but he's more effective right now. What happened to freaking Prince Puma? Just saying. Continue.
But overall, it's going to be a show stealing of a match. I know you guys said we're going to get 2 new champions to crown at the end of the night.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed we're crowning 2 new champions. I think as of right now, I could change up until 7:15 Eastern time on Sunday. As of right now, I'm going to go with Jonathan Gresham to become the brand new X Division championship on Sunday night.
Okay, then. I like that, being a bit bold here. I mean, again, weirder things have happened. This is the X Division. Like you said, Jerry, flash pin, and Jonathan Gresham, he is a guy that could trap you in 8 different ways, just like that. So, again...
There's a reason he wears that Hydra mask.
Yeah, he is the octopus. Freaking 8 limbs. All right, well, either way, we definitely believe that this match is going to definitely be one of the main show stealers and might be the most surprising result of the night. But here's another question I have to ask. Do we believe that Santino Marella can actually still bring it in the ring one more time? In his hometown. I cannot believe this is happening. I met this guy in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Corelli, a.k.a. Santino Marella, makes his way back to in-ring competition in 6-man format. And we will see if there's a flaw in the design or if Callahan will finally be chosen by it. As design, and I do wonder, actually, what will be the threesome, as led by Diener, with Callahan, Khan, and Alan Angels, take on the trio of Dirty Dangle, you are looking at that right, Santino Marella, and, of course, the ever-motivational Joe Hendry. We saw what happened last night as Joe Hendry and Dirty Dangle did get the win off a miscommunication by the design, and then we saw them try to go after everybody post-match. But Santino Marella, he came back, and he brought it out, and the Cobra struck. So we know the Cobra is still effective. Again, this show is going to be very polarizing to the Impact faithful. There's no doubt. We're going to have what the F's. We're going to have feel-good moments, and I feel there's going to be a bit of So this is one of those where I'm like, Canada, homecoming hero. Does Santino Marella give us that traditional trumpet victory march at the end? or do we finally see the design fully come together and welcome Callahan? Is this step 7? That's another thing to figure out here. I'm kind of torn on this one. I can't believe I just said that. But I've been saying for the longest time that I thought Callahan's just been biding his time, playing his game, thinking about how to destroy the design from within. Is it crumbling before us, before it even really began? And then you have Santino Marella and Joe Hendry together on the same team. I will say this. Last time Joe Hendry was involved in tag team affairs, Multiverse United, his team lost at Multiverse United. But he wasn't really the focus there. And here he's not really the focus, but he will definitely be the motivation. I'm just going to say this. I still believe in Joe Hendry. Might maybe think otherwise. But I don't know if I can see his side winning. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Good luck.
Well, this is personally, you said about Santino Marella returning into the ring, and this is his hometown.
Yep.
We got to remember that hometown people don't always win. That
More often in WWE. Sorry.
That's what we have to understand. And personally, I'm glad Santino Marella is coming back into the wrestling ring to give us something to remember him by. I know the crowd, they're going to be chanting, "You still got it, you still got it, you still got it." And personally, he still is going to get it. But with Sami Callihan and Diener of the design, I feel there's going to be tensions with that. And I personally believe that Sami Callihan is going to possibly cost the design this victory. And I think possibly at Under Siege or maybe Slammiversary, one of those two events, we could possibly see Sami Callihan and Diener one-on-one with each other. So in this match, I got Cobra, I got Santino Marella, I got Dirty Dango.
Oh, God, get weird. He's getting weird.
And I finally believe in Joe Hendry.
You finally believe. Doggone it, Chris, you had to say his name. Oh, God, I really hope I see Joe Hendry a lot. Well, I love the motivation you have behind that. You definitely are inspired. So you believe in Santino Marella's side winning. Okay. That's an interesting thought, Jerry, because the design could be Under Siege by Callahan. Maybe Khan and Alan Angel turn against the actual design itself and Callahan redesigns it. Like, again, like what Eric Young did with freaking Diener, but without, dying him off or killing him off. A majority do believe, though, and it's a small majority, 13-10, that Joe Hendry, Dirty Dangle, and Santino Marella will be victorious. Again, it's a homecoming, but is it a one-off? So, Jerry, do you believe that the Director Authority and his team will be victorious at Rebellion? Or does the design finally come fully to fruition? And maybe we get a future challenger towards the digital media champion?
I think what we're going to end up having is Callahan pinning Dango. Like that'll show like leadership skills on his part, and then like you said, Khan and Angels will kind of like be looking at it as like, or maybe we're following the wrong person at this point. And then that could lead easily into another, like it could easily lead to Callahan taking over the group or just causing more doubt in the group, because Callahan's all about madness. It doesn't matter who he pins. It doesn't matter who he ends up defeating. But this way, you still keep Santino. He doesn't get pinned in his hometown,
right?
And you have Joe Hendry. People can still believe in him because he didn't lose.
Yes, because we all believe. He said,
but yeah, that could easily set up a digital media championship match somewhere down the line against any of the members of the design. So this is kind of not really a throwaway match, but enough that it could actually be like move their story, the design story forward a little bit more. So I see them actually picking up the win.
It's one of those things where it's just a hodgepodge right now, and it is a moment, and we really haven't seen somebody oppose the director of authority really yet directly in Impact Wrestling before Callahan. And we really haven't seen anything really move forward for the design either. They've kind of been stuck. It's almost like they're in assembly state. And again, step 7. Is step 7 Sunday at Rebellion? That's going to be the difference maker. But based on what you just said, it does kind of make more sense because there is more storytelling further with the design in victory than in defeat. If they lose, then that's got to be the death note for Callahan as far as I'm concerned in the design. If they win, then we really see if Callahan's welcomed by a design or he redesigns it from within and Deaner had no idea. I feel there's more leverage to the design winning, but how do you bet against a feel-good moment like Santino Marella winning in his hometown? That's my biggest thing. I mean, yeah, he'll still probably do the Cobra, but for a throwaway match, this one could go either way. Damn you both. You both went opposite ways. Fuck it.
He can still sell. Santino can still hit the Cobra at the end of the end of the match after a bell's done rung and everything. If there's still a post-match beatdown going on, he can still do the Cobra. He can still do a trumpet thing to close out the match, and then that'd be it. But they're still gonna lose, Noah, and you know this.
I don't know this, and neither do you.
Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Why you gotta say his name? Of course I believe in Joe Hendry. I just don't fully believe in this trio winning. Damn it! Damn it!
Meatloaf said once before 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but in this case 2 out of 3 will be bad. And Santino and Dango and Joe Hendry are gonna lose.
Fudge me. All right, I'm committed. Want to sound video? I'm gonna say that because you gotta have a balance of moments. And either way, he's back in ring. That's a moment in itself. I will say the design somehow pulls out the win. They're going to have underhanded tactics for all I know. Maybe they use a little Digital Media Championship themselves with that badge in Dirty Dango's face. Dirty Dango's the oddest factor in this match. That's saying something. So, again, he might do something stupid and literally cost his team. So, I'm going to say the design will be victorious. God, that was difficult. All right. Well, that was fun. But I do, by the way, one last time, I do still believe in Joe Hendry. Yes. Simple as that. Okay. Well, good stuff, guys. Hope everybody's enjoyed the conversation so far. Whether watching this live or on demand, again, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, become part of the league because your predictions matter too. They are finalized at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday night. But without further ado, we've had a lot of fun talk. We had a lot of interesting discussions. Now it's time to really get serious as we look at the future of Impact Wrestling. Because in my opinion, it's time to talk about what really is a double main event. Because first off, on behalf of anybody that's an Impact Wrestling fan here and beyond, we want to wish our deepest prayers of recovery to the walking weapon, the most prolific Impact World Champion in this company's history, Josh Alexander, successfully coming off torn tricep surgery, but the road to recovery is absolutely indefinite. I know that heartbeat of the Iron Man still be strong, will be stronger than ever when he returns. Josh Alexander get well soon. And of course, hardcore country Mickie James, who might literally give us her last farewell. All I gotta say is happy trails. Thank you for everything. I truly hope it's not it. But again, the biggest risk in this industry for anybody involved is knowing when you have to hang it up. If that is the case, Mickie James, thank you. All right, folks, let's get serious. Time to talk about the double main event. Thank you, Rehan. We're going to start with seeing who will be the new Knockouts World Champion. It started back at Slammiversary 2020 with these very two women that redefined the Knockouts division going forward. As the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, long may she reign, takes on the juggernaut Jordynne Grace. Slammiversary 2020, Jordynne Grace came in as champion. Deonna Purrazzo beat her in her debut, made her tap out. These two women continue to make history with the first ever Iron Woman match 30 minutes long at Emergence shortly after. Deonna Purrazzo came out victorious. Deonna Purrazzo has not lost to Jordan Grace in one-on-one action. And while Deonna Purrazzo has not ever beaten Mickie James, and to Jordan Grace's credit, she hasn't either, Mickie James is no longer a factor in the equation. For Jordan Grace, though, she has never beaten the Virtuosa one-on-one. This is their third ever singles one-on-one encounter. Jordan Grace, of course, a two-time Knockouts world champion who won the Queen of the Mountain, has also been involved in Ultimate X. Deonna Purrazzo has been the main event, the champ, former AAA Reina de Reinas champion, and Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, while a two-time Knockouts World Champion, and also a Knockouts Tag Team Champion. She has done absolutely everything as she looks to create a brand new masterpiece on a blank canvas, now looking for the hat trick as a Knockouts World Champion once again. Oh, boy. Chris, you are starting things off with this. Who carries the Knockouts division going forward now as the new Knockouts World Champion?
Well, the last time Deonna Purrazzo, she hasn't had that championship since 2021. So that's like 2 years ago.
Yep.
And now
bound for glory to Mickie James.
And
But
now
that is how math works.
And now Deonna Purrazzo is coming in her Virtuoso gimmick once again. And personally, caps off to Mickie James for possibly an ending segment last night on Impact. Taking her championship, taking her boot off. Caps off. If this is the end of her maybe career or something, thank you so much for inspiring everybody to look up to you as a role model. But I know her husband, Nick Aldis, is a free agent. So if Nick Aldis decides that he's going to maybe go to WWE, I wouldn't be surprised if Mickie James goes back to WWE. And if this is a way of Impact not clearing her just in time, and she was forced to give up her championship last night, but hey, Mickie James, she had a last rodeo. She did an unbelievable job. Now it's time for Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo to focus about the Knockouts champion. Jordan Grace, she wants to become a 3-time Knockouts champion on Sunday. Deonna Purrazzo hasn't had that championship since 2021. I believe moving forward, the Impact Knockouts Women's Championship, it's going to the Virtuosa of Deonna Purrazzo this Sunday.
Okay, then. Jerry, a majority are actually going with the Virtuosa. 15 out of the 23, while 8 did pick the Juggernaut. Again, like he said, bound for glory 2021. She hasn't had high nor tail of this title. Won the chance to compete for this title at the Fatal 4-Way at Multiverse United, outlasting Michelle Shaw, Mia Yamashita, and of course, who was the other one? It was a random name thrown in there. Why am I blanking on it? Damn. Oh, Masha Slamovich. That's it, Masha Slamovich. And again, Deonna Purrazzo has basically beaten everybody in this Knockouts division except for, who may now be retired, Mickie James. So with the Virtuosa being the standard bearer, the main event, pretty much in my opinion, of the Knockouts division since 2020, where do you stand? Does the Juggernaut once again make history and get the one win she has yet to get in her illustrious career? Or does the Virtuosa once again take an arm as she starts a new masterpiece as the Virtuosa and the new Knockouts World Champion? You look like you're looking for the answer out there in the sky.
The ice cream truck didn't even stop.
Go figure.
Oh my
God. It just kept fucking going, Noah.
It just kept going and going and going and going.
There's like no music or anything, so I'm wondering the legitimacy of this ice cream truck, and that's what had me distracted. But I know my answer, so we're okay.
Okay. And yeah, we don't need
Mickie James is not done. She's gonna
She
get.
can't
she's
be,
gonna come
right?
back-
She can't be.
She's gonna come back from her injury. She's gonna have her replica title. We're gonna have a title We're gonna have a undisputed ladder match between her and the winner of this match, Deonna Purrazzo, to fully legitimize her as the Knockouts Women's Champion and the future of the company.
Damn, you're really
Drea
trying to
Gra-
recreate WrestleMania 10 in Impact Wrestling?
Why the fuck not, Noah?
Yeah, fair point.
It's like if you're gonna, recreate anything, it might as well be one of the greatest ladder matches of all time.
I
And
can't
heel
remember-
Mickey.
I can't remember the last time the Knockouts World Championship, besides Queen of the Mountain, and that's a whole different stretch, was even
Yeah.
defended in a ladder match.
Exactly. So you have that kind of standard going for you. And I'm going to say it, with Trish Stratus' heel turn in WWE right now, heel Mickey James is so much more fun than face Mickey James. She really is.
You're not wrong.
And the promos between those two would be great. You have a complete flip. You'll have Deonna Purrazzo, who's usually a pretty great heel, showing her chops as a face champion to ward off this woman that she pretty much feels is done. She, by all accounts, Mickey James should be done, but she kept on going and going and going. So this is gonna be Deonna Purrazzo putting down Mickey James finally in a match that, you wouldn't commonly see. And then you have the passing of the torch, handshake, and everything. But in order to do that, she has to beat Jordynne Grace first, and then Jordynne Grace. That's gonna be her whale. That's gonna be her white whale. She's already won the digital championship. She's won what considered to be a male title.
Yep.
She's been multiple-time knockout champion.
Yep.
But she cannot beat Deonna Purrazzo. That's gonna be something that's gonna have to be done way down the line, and it's going to make it that much more impactful when it does. But for this coming Sunday, Deonna Purrazzo, FTW.
All right, then. Again, I've been saying it since 2023 began. The one win that has eluded her, I believe she will accomplish. Now, you might say Last Impact Wrestling threw a monkey wrench in that. Now, whether or not they actually go with your creative idea is a whole different swing. But I do still feel like before the Virtuosa has ever done an Impact Wrestling, she needs to beat Mickey James. If it's not for the title, she might as well do it this time, defending it successfully against her. Because it was when she faced her while having it that Mickey beat her. It's the one win that has eluded the Virtuosa's career, why Jordynne Grace, the one singles win that has eluded her legendary career, is over the Virtuosa. You look at both dynamics. But I do see the Virtuosa once again being the Knockouts World Champion. Long may she reign. And maybe at Against All Odds, we will get some sort of Mickey James idea. And to be fair, the Deonna Purrazzo has kind of balanced that whole idea of face and heel, but she is the Virtuosa. She is a class of her own, whether you realize it, respect it, or not. Again, as we saw, she overcame Michelle Shaw at Sacrifice. Pretty damn easily, might I add. So, again, Deonna Purrazzo, she is the knockout of the division. And personally, I want to see her face Killer Kelly one-on-one. That's a whole different tangent. But, yeah.
I'll say she's been a tweener for a very, very long time, pretty much letting the fans decide if they're going to love her or hate her. Right. And I think that's one of the best ways you can be, especially if you're trying to establish an identity in Impact Wrestling. You need to let the fans decide. You don't need to jam yourself down their throats. So you can't just be trying to sway them. She just goes into the ring. She says what she's going to do, and she does it. She delivers. She's got that Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig kind of thing going for her. The fact that she doesn't really need heel tactics or anything to win, but if it means her pulling that out just to either get a championship or keep the championship, she will.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Yeah. I'm with the Virtuosa all the way. Long may she reign. Now, what does that mean for Jordynne Grace going forward? I really haven't thought about that. I don't know. Maybe she is Fake Mama Pump. Maybe she goes rogue, not on the Duck, but maybe on the Knockouts division. I mean, she's been involved in bodybuilding lately. Congratulations to her on that. So she has other
her Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich a triple threat women's number one contenders match.
All the pounding.
Give it to me now.
All the pounding. All the damn pounding. But I digress. Either way, all of us are unanimous that the Virtuosa will once again reign as Knockouts World Champion. All right, well, good stuff. Now let's go ahead and get into our main event, where we will see if a 1 year plus obsession, the same mission statement, but now a different reconnaissance, will actually lead to him surpassing the submission, the hoverboard lock. Is time up, or is his time now? It is time to see who will now lead Impact Wrestling as the new Impact World Champion, as Steve Maclin, the number one contender who won it at No Surrender, takes on the time splitter, Kushida. And Kushida has never held a World Heavyweight Championship. This is his first chance at this gold. Same thing for Maclin. Both men wanted Josh Alexander, but again, out indefinitely. Time to see who now leads this company. Steve Maclin's first, Kushida's first, either man's last. You tell me. Jared, you are my impactful, faithful brother and duo. You kick things off here to find the future of the Impact World Championship.
Now, Noah, this is what I was talking about earlier with the Ultimate X tag match.
Yes.
Because at this point, either way, like, if Kushida wins, you'll have that really good feel-good moment with the Motor City Machine Guns and him standing out in the middle of the ring. Everybody holding respective titles because they're still champions over the New Japan. Is it at this point?
Yes.
All right. So I want to make sure I had that right. But them all holding belts. Granted, not all belts for the company, but Kushida's got the world title held over his head. He's accomplished his goals. Whatever. All right. But if Steve Maclin wins, you also have Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin as potential challengers for the belt.
Right.
Both Impact stalwarts. Both could easily go after a title and make it like a triple threat match, just all about respect between the two of them. But that could easily cause a split, and then it's up to Kushida to try to reunite them again. So you have a whole bunch of different stories that can come out of either one of these outcomes.
Exactly.
But when it comes down to it, Kushida has impressed me a lot more since his time in NXT because they really watered him down and just made him feel like less of a talent than he actually truly is.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I do not think this is Kushida's time. I think we've been building Steve Maclin to win the title, even if it was against Josh Alexander. And I think they're going to stick with that. I think we're going to get Steve Maclin winning the belt, and then once Josh Alexander. Oh,
a lot of words there. A lot of words. He's good.
Josh Alexander. Once he returns, then you get that program between those two, and even then, Maclin still wins. Because they need to have that heel champion for a little while, and just build that for a little while longer, and then have Josh Alexander finally beat him for the belt again. It just feels better that way. It feels cheap otherwise. Kushida, it's just not his time. It really isn't, and he's got a whole bunch of different stories he can tell in that company. He'd easily go for the X Division belt as well. That'd be really cool to see. But I don't think he's going to win this match.
Okay, then. Well, many have said that Steve Maclin is an uncrowned Impact World Champion since his debut, Chris. He has tagged and bagged everybody possible, it seems, in Impact Wrestling. Whether it was Switchblade Jay White, whether it was Chris Sabin, whether it was Rich Swann, whether it was Trey Miguel, who might add, Trey Miguel is the person that gave him his first ever loss. He lost his temper, of course, with Frankie Kazarian, but technically he got over him as well. He's also beaten former Impact greats, including James Storm. Anybody that's been put in Steve Maclin's way, he has used for nothing but fuel on his number one objective, and that is to claim the Impact World Championship. And the majority right now believe that Steve Maclin, Mayhem, will finally run Impact Wrestling. 75%, 18 out of the 24. So, Chris, where do you stand? Does Steve Maclin finally accomplish his goal with his very first chance at it? Or does fear come true? And does he come up short? And is the hoverboard lock maybe his undoing? Does he have an answer to that?
personally, I think he does have an answer to that. Ever since he debuted in Impact, Impact has been invested into Steve Macklin ever since he debuted.
Bar none.
I personally believe what we saw with Josh Alexander relinquishing the championship caps off to an unbelievable championship run.
348 days, the longest champion ever in this company's history. Respect.
And personally, I'm heartbroken that he got injured. And this was supposed to be Alexander versus Steve Macklin this Sunday. But injuries does happen at maybe the worst time in a person's career. And I know with his kid gaining the championship, he didn't.
That was hard to watch.
Was that?
I still get teary-eyed. That was horrible.
Do you think? Do you think that was a part of the show, or do you think?
No.
That was a family moment. That's
a kid getting used to seeing his dad holding the title or carrying it around for so long, only for him to actually have to hand it over to somebody else.
And it wasn't the fact that he lost; he had to relinquish it. Josh Alexander said that he was going to be the hardest worker in Impact no matter what. And if someone's going to beat me for it, they truly have to kill me for it. At the end of the day, Josh Body beat Josh Alexander.
And
Josh beat himself.
Exactly.
And personally, even his kid, he doesn't know about what goes on behind the scenes, like storylines, creative, and all that other stuff. So he was possibly heartbroken because of his father. But I believe at the end of the day, as of right now, and I am going to make this final. I'm making this final here right now. I'm going to go with Steve Macklin for the win. It's his time. If it was Steve Macklin and Josh Alexander, I feel Impact was going to book Steve Macklin to beat Josh Alexander for the win. And I feel they are going to stick to that plan and go with Steve Macklin for the win. And then once Josh Alexander is fully better, I feel we possibly won't see Josh Alexander until 2024. That is going to be a long time. And I personally believe if Steve Macklin is still champion by then, I hope he does. I feel possibly at next year's Rebellion, I'm going to make a bold prediction. I personally believe we are going to have at next year's Rebellion in the main event, Steve Macklin defends the Impact World Championship against Josh Alexander next year at Rebellion. But what about moving forward? You got Under Siege and you got Slammiversary. I personally believe what I said earlier about Speedball Mike Bailey. I think we might see Mike Bailey versus Steve Macklin maybe at Slammiversary live on pay-per-view. And I feel that could happen.
Well, Rion did suggest that, and might I add, after this again, it's Under Siege, Against All Odds, and then Slammiversary. Against All Odds and Under Siege, they might as well be pay-per-views, but they're not going to be. They're going to be monthly specials on YouTube for Impact Ultimate Insiders. And again, I encourage people to become one to follow the product as well. That being said, quick question, and this actually might go along with this. With Mika relinquishing the title, is she finished or going to have one final match? Again, Jerry, whether being serious or, just, Control-C, Control-V, aha, maybe Impact does it better because WWE, LOL. It's one of those things where we really don't know. But right now, Mickey simply said, Deonna, Jordan, it's your time. I still think until we see Mickie James versus Deonna Purrazzo 3, that Mickie James is not done in professional wrestling, because honestly, that should be Mickie James' final match. That's my
that comment. It's your time comes with an asterisk. It's your time asterisk until it's my time again.
Yeah.
So that's going to be Mickie James picking up her story and finishing it.
And like a freaking another thing. Fair take. And Dwayne here with, I wish they would bring back Feast or Fire match.
God, no.
No, are you kidding me? God. Ugh. Bleh. No, that didn't work out right for anybody. Especially when they
No.
swapped the cases in the freaking boardroom meeting. Oh, look, I got fired. Oh, man. And Dwayne picked also Deanna. Now, I just want to put this perspective, guys. You realize we just picked both Steve Macklin and Deanna Purrazzo to win at Rebellion. That's the power couple type thing. They would be literally ruling Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. You need a power couple like that. And then Chris, your whole idea about Mickie James going back to WWE, I got 2 words for you. Trash bag. That is not going to happen. They put her shit into a trash bag and sent it back to her. Granted, it was some sort of intern that did it, but somebody let that shit happen, and I don't think she'll ever really truly forgive them for that. So I don't see her going back to WWE no matter what kind of money, no matter who goes there. Triple H is really high. Triple H is really high on Nick Aldis, yes, but we're starting to see cracks in that, and Triple H really isn't as in charge as we think at this point. So I think at this point, maybe Mickie returns and then finish out her career at Impact. That'd be nice.
Agree.
Maybe Nick Aldis shows up at Impact, and maybe she becomes like a valet to him and just kind of still hangs out. Just because her career is going to be over doesn't mean her wrestling career is going to be over.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, are you truly done with wrestling if you can't do it in the ring? And if you can't do it in the ring, can you still actually continue the same passionate way in this industry? Again, one of the ultimate questions, because professional wrestling is not a job. It is a lifestyle choice. It is a sacrifice. It is literally your everyday well-being that you put on the line, physically and mentally. The freaking Before the Bell for Rebellion summed it up more perfectly than I ever could as a fan of simple YouTube commentator for Jeff Beecham Network. So that being said, again, I've been saying it for the longest time. Again, I follow Impact Wrestling. Hell, I've been following them during the worst times. Ayo. That being said, since Slammiversary 2020, it has been a reset, a renaissance for this company. And while there has been one predominant face of the Knockouts carrying it forward, what I didn't expect was this wild mercenary coming in running roughshod and pressing the hell out of me. It's Steve Macklin's time. He has had obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle put in front of him to prevent him from even challenging for this. And yet he still constantly scouted, prepared, assessed, reviewed, wanted this. He finally has that chance. This is one of those times where it's not about finishing a story, kayfabe market-wise. It is a call in judgment. I honestly do believe, considering this is Josh Alexander's home turf, if this was Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin, maybe, just maybe, they would have drew it out a little longer, because that does seem like the prime target. Even Steve Macklin said it. But this is Kushida, and with all due respect to the fact that he literally goes all the way back to Scott D'Amore's wrestling school when he quit Japan at one point, Steve Macklin is the guy to lead Impact Wrestling on an even more incredible run, I feel like, than maybe what Josh Alexander did. Literally give Josh run for his money. You saw what he did Tyrion the Man when he was at his most vulnerable, and that Scott D'Amore went beyond professional to personal, because they also did the same thing. You tapped out. That's going to be the marquee moment here, a tap out. And whether or not it happens in front of the ref or the ref gets bumped, either way, Steve Macklin, in my opinion, has to win this, or it's a point of no return for him. I got to go with Steve Macklin as the new Impact World Champion. What does that mean for Kushida? Only time will tell. It wouldn't surprise me if they do run back this as a rematch. Maybe submission match only, because Kushida is a submission specialist. But Steve Macklin deserves this title and deserves this chance to run as Impact World Champion. I got Macklin winning.
Can you imagine the promo Macklin cuts after he wins the belt, pretty much telling D'Amore, I won this in spite of you? Oh my God.
All of you. Scott, Josh, Jade, your son, all you fans, I did this.
Yep.
Again, and Steve Macklin don't give a damn, character-wise. Either way, it's mayhem for all.
Forgotten no more.
Oh, if he drops that line, I once was forgotten, but now you remember who I am going forward, for I am now your Impact World Champion.
Yeah.
Yes. But I digress.
That's not
All right.
digression. That's just great.
That's great shit. All right. Well, that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in. Some brief thoughts and opinions, real quick. Great show ahead of us. Let's freaking go. Let's go Impact Wrestling. Go Kushida. Ooh, someone picked Kushida. Don't sleep in Impact
Ooh.
Wrestling. Enjoy the pay-per-view. Can't wait. And smile emoji, because some people speak with emojis versus words. That's your own choice. And again, people, get those predictions in. Links description down below. Links all across our social media too. Jerry, Chris, been an absolute pleasure. Thank everybody once again for tuning in too. Again, if you have any last-minute thoughts, questions, opinions, or overall predictions, let them be known in the chat as we go around and conclude. But before we do, let's go ahead and promote where people can find us and connect further with us too. Chris, it's always a pleasure. I actually developed a graphic for you. Good luck at Impact Wrestling. Again, a very polarizing pay-per-view to determine the future of this company on many fronts. Good luck to both of you. Anything you want to plug about and where can people find you?
Well, where can everybody find me? Is on my Twitter account. You see it right there. Is C uppercase C uppercase R is OTZ24. My Instagram is CMROTZ_6472. You'll see there my Facebook is Christopher Rotz. Then you have my Discord, C Rotz 2423. And I forgot to promote my Snapchat. It's C _Rotz 17. My TikTok is Rotz _2423. I had an absolute blast coming on here tonight for the Impact predictions video. The next time we will be doing a simply predicting panel will be in the month of May. We got May, we got Backlash, so we'll possibly do it the Friday before or even the day of Backlash, and then we're possibly going to be doubling up on that Friday on May 26th, as we're going to be doing Impacts Under Siege and Night of Champions from Saudi Arabia, where every championship gets to be defended. And then
every championship.
Yeah. And then
except for that main one, probably.
And possibly that Saturday after maybe Impact, maybe after Night of Champions, we might be coming back here and we're going to do possibly, if it was okay with everybody, we do NXT Battlegrounds and AEW Double or Nothing predictions video, or we might separate one of the two, do it one Saturday, do one Sunday, depending on what everybody else thinks. So we got 5 events in the month of May. So 5 months means you can't see me.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a spin of Rooney.
No. So
Sucker!
If you want to get on these 5 panel videos in the month of May, hit Noah Foster up and hit myself up, hit anybody up in the group chats and everyone around us. If you want to get on, hit us up and we'll be more than happy to welcome you on the predictions video in the month of May. I hope you guys all enjoy Impact Rebellion this Sunday. I can't wait for it. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and enjoy your guys' weekend.
Always the respectful, humble man, Chris. Appreciate you. Jerry, always appreciate you too. This was definitely a hot conversation. I know you still have a cool evening ahead for you, preferably, but I hope
it's cool off a little bit in here. The sun's finally going away, so we're all right.
All right. Well, I'd like to hear that. Like Matthew McConaughey says, all right. That being said, anything you want to promote, my friend, where can people find you?
Well, first off, anybody who picked Asian Cody Rhodes is stupid. Secondly, you can find me on Twitter at Gerald_JSJ and my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR, exclamation point.
Exclamation point. Don't forget it.
We do wrestling memes, we do wrestling discussions. It's just a good time with nobody really shaming any company, which is what I'm always trying to gun for. We're here to talk about professional wrestling, and
Damn it.
that's it. All right, no, there's no one company better than the other. They run things differently, and that's all there is to it. Like the WWE is very traditional, AEW is kind of new wave, and then you have Impact like this, which is just awesome. My cat's walking in the background.
That's funny.
Impassioned speech over. Well, bring us home, Noah.
All right. Well, guys, I always appreciate you, and I always appreciate anybody that tunes in too. Again, folks, this has been Impact Wrestling, simply predicting Rebellion pay-per-view. If you can, please support Impact Wrestling. Take a chance. Watch the countdown if you don't have any money. And if you can find a way, please enjoy this pay-per-view and see what the future holds for this incredible company too. And if folks want to know more about me, know this, for I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling, damn it! But I digress. So find me on the Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube, and in Foster1916. I keep it short, sweet, and simple for all things wrestling and consistent. Shout out, of course, the entire ATW family across the Twitter and other social media formats. You, of course, find my Twitter, as I said earlier. That's where I usually keep leagues and forums and be in touch with all of you in all things wrestling, too. Usually live, but also give you a nice how do you do? Because I don't have notifications, I don't scroll, and I don't breed toxicity or believe in tribalism either. Learn a thing or two, people. Also, find me on YouTube. Thank you, James Hebert, for the updated banner. Always got to appreciate that young man's creativity. You'll find on the community tab also links to the forums, as well as, if I can, based on screen size, pictures of the prediction leaderboards as well. And, of course, you find the HW View in full playlist right there on my YouTube channel. I want to give a quick shout out, of course, to fellow horsemen Mark Griffith and Jeff Chadwick. If you can, follow Meltdown Wrestling League on Facebook. And follow Cast 18 Studios, the partner, of course, of the Simple Brand along with FTR Productions, where the Renegade JJ Williams, he'll be back, of course, to host all the shenanigans tomorrow night on the Weekly Forum, where everything's unscripted and uncensored. On Open Mic Night. So stay tuned for more of that, of course, Saturdays, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As Chris politely alluded to, I'm crazy. So much to be predicting ahead. It's gonna be May Madness as we have WWE Backlash. And in one weekend, I kid you not, one weekend, what the fuck, industry? That's totally about wrong, damn it. Impact Wrestling Under Siege, WWE Night of Champions, and NXT Battleground. Oh, wait a minute. Not my NXT! But I digress. And of course, what I'm most looking forward to, AEW, the fifth Double or Nothing, the pay-per-view that started all for this brand. Now the fifth go around from the City of Sins. It's going to be something special with the devil on the very front of the marquee, and you know it. There will be city predicting for all of these and play-by-play watch-along coverage, at least for 4 of them. You can guess which 4. And of course, there's so much more to come on my Simple YouTube channel in collaboration with FTW Productions and so much more too, including AEW Spark, which we will be doing tonight, coming the last week, not this week, the last full week of all Elite Wrestling products too, and even Battle of the Belt. So stay tuned for that as well with FTW Productions, me and James Hebert. And like I said, this Sunday, me and James Hebert will be on the play-by-play commentary call for the Japanese Multiverse of Mia to give you all the commentary, reactions, live play, and coverage for Impact Wrestling's Rebellion pay-per-view too. But as always, I'd like to conclude, there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. There are just fans. Fans. ... with their own opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another. Respect each other. Protect your mentality, too. Starts by turning this damn thing off if you can. And treasure your families. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell.
Seemingly Chris has a question, or he's representing the bloodline. I'm not sure what the fuck he's doing.
He wants me to acknowledge him, so I'll acknowledge him here in a moment when I conclude with this. Hit the bell when the next video goes live on demand on this channel, Cassie 18 Studios. Hit the bell to know when the next video goes live or on demand. Hello, Andy. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you are doing well. And of course, stay tuned as our fun, passionate creativity, investment, engagement in all things wrestling is not letting up anytime soon. I assure you, for the entire Sidley Predicting family, for those that are here tonight and weren't here, but particularly for those that were here, of course, the General, Jerry Rebellion, and Christopher Rotz. I am the Simple Man of the Simple brand. My name is Noah Foster, and I thank all of you for tuning in too. So until next time, make a positive impact in life and have a good night. But Chris, what are you trying to do?
Well, I want to do this. Number one, say yes to NoDQ.com.
Damn right.
And number two, we are out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.